Congratulations, you've got a long call option that's in the green. Now, here's 5 ways to manage your winning options trade. We're going to look at this Apple 150 call right here, showing about $2,000 in profit. The first thing you could do, and I know this is a crazy concept, is just close out the trade now and take that 1968 and run. To do this, we would go in and lock in the profit by right-clicking on our trade, clicking close inside Interactive Brokers TWS. That's going to pre-populate this order into our order entry area with a sell order to close out the trade. We would then make sure our quantity is listed as 1 as it's shown, because we only have 1 contract. We could do limit order or market order. In this case, a market order is going to get it filled right away for you if the market's open. If you do limit order, you can click the mid price in here between the bid and ask. It's going to be around $40 right now, currently shown as the last traded price. You would then go in and click submit to put that order in the hopper. It would then go override and transmit, and you would lock in your trade once the market was open, and this would be locking in your $2,000 of profit. Again, pretty simple. Take the money and run Steve Miller style and apply it to your next trade. Now, tip number 2. At the very least, if you're not going to do this in tip number 1, you're not going to manage it by closing it off. Tip number 2 means you should at least set a stop loss to protect some of this profit. You have this profit sitting in your account. You don't want to lose it. The trade only has 18 days left to work. So the idea here is you want to let it ride a bit longer over these 18 days. And I'm going to show you how to do that in tips 3, 4, and 5. But for tip 2, set a stop loss to block in some of this profit, okay? And we can do this very simply. What we want to do, again, click on our position, and we want to click on close, okay? And in this example, we want to click on a stop order, meaning this will put a stop loss on our options trade. We have a current option value for this trade at $42, like we said. That gives us roughly $2,000 worth of profit. We paid $22.60 to open up this position in the beginning. So if we want to protect our risk and maybe, let's say, lock in $1,000 of profit, no matter what, we could simply put this stop order at $22.60 plus $10, with 10 times 100 shares in a contract is 1,000. We could then go $32.60 in here. I'm just going to type it in there, $32.60, and put this on good till canceled. That's going to give us a stop loss where if the contract value of Apple's 150 call here goes down to $32.60, bang, we lock in $1,000 of profit. We give back $968, but we're hoping within the next 18 days, Apple's stock price goes up a bit more. We make a bit more than this $1968, and this is our stop loss worst case scenario, still locking in $1,000 in profit. We would submit this again and go override and transmit, and that would stay in there until it got filled, while we also went on to manage our trade through tips 3, 4, and 5. Now, tip 3 is all about monitoring and wait. So if we have our stop loss in here, like we said in tip 2, we're good. We've decided to not go tip 1 and just take the profit and run. We're going to let this ride a bit with our stop loss in there. So we go then to the Apple's chart, and we're going to sit back and open this thing up and say, hey, Apple's been on a bit of a heater lately. It's on a nice solid uptrend right there, and feel free to use whatever charting platform you want to, including TradingView. I've got some videos on the channel about that if you want to check them out right there. But Apple's price has been on a bit of a heater. It has kind of petered out a bit up here, kind of hitting a top level around that 192 area over here. But again, there have been some previous highs, 199 right there, 196. So it has a bit of room to go a little bit higher the next 18 days till it expires. So we could just have our stop loss on and sit back and wait here and just manage this thing on our own. However, if you want to have a less time-intense way of doing this, tip number 4 is going to show you how to do that, and tip number 5 takes that one step further. But in this regard, we just sit back, wait, monitor this position, check Apple here, check Apple there, maybe twice a day to see what it's doing. If it starts dropping a little bit too far, perhaps we come in here and say, hey, it's already at this big candlestick right there. There's kind of a touching point right there around 186. Maybe that's where we want to lock in our profit and say, hey, let's close out our trade if it gets to this technical level. It's always good to have a technical idea of where you want to trade to. That way you're not making it based on emotion. If it hits this level, I'm out, or you let your stop loss kick in if that's the case. So that's tip 3. We have our levels in here. So I'm going to use these as a kind of precursor for tip number 4. Now, tip number 4 is all about setting up an alert inside Interactive Broker so that when you're using your trading app, you can do this on your phone as well. You can not have to look at this all day long. It's going to automatically send you a notification if one of these key price levels is hit. So for example, let's say we have our stop loss on, like we talked about over here in tip number 2. Our stop loss is in there. It's all good to go. It's not going nowhere. We want to go into Apple's chart again then and say, hey, we've got this technical level up here around that 196. That's our key level. If it hits this level, I want to close the trade because I don't think it's going any higher than that in the next 18 days. Perfect. We're going to right click over here in this area at 196. We're going to click on this little bell icon right there. And then we're going to be asked to have this kind of yellow line appear. So I'm going to get as close to 196 as I possibly can in here. Click in there, and then I'm going to just chop this down over here. Or just like type in 196.00. And we can do this to either just have it going when the stock market's open, or we can have it alert outside of regular trading hours. So at any time post pre-market, we can have this kind of notification hit. I'm going to keep it the way it is right now and just activate it, with the thought price being that, again, this yellow line now is our technical level. I'm going to remove that trend line. And our alert right there on Apple's price is 196. So if Apple's price hits 196, again, you're going to get an alert. It's a flashing screen on your computer on TWS, and it's going to be like, bah, 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 and it's to let you know that Apple's price has gotten to your technical level. It is time to now close out your trade for profit. Again, it may not get there, but we have our worst case scenario covered in tip number 2. We're still banking $1,000. We're just trying to squeeze a bit more out of this $2,000 profit. Maybe it's 2,200, maybe it's 2,500, maybe it's 3,000, depending on where Apple goes. We want to squeeze a little bit more juice out of this and make it a more profitable trade. Remember the old adage, let your winners ride and close off your losers early. Normally people do the opposite of that. So if you have a winning trade like this, let it work for you. Keep it going in the right direction. You can set multiple alerts if you want to, same kind of thing. Right clicking here, another bell, create a new alert, click in there, 199, sure, let's put in there. So we've got 2 price levels we could have. If you think Apple's price is really going to start ripping, you'd have 2 alerts right there doing the same thing for you, hitting that technical price level. Or on the downside, you could do one too. If you want to manage this again and just protect your downside, even though you have your stop loss on, create one more down here. And if it hits 186, you just say, hey, that's cool. I got some profit. I'm not going to lose all $2,000 because we have our baseline at $1,000 of profit, but I'm going to actually take a little bit more money here and close this off at 186 at this technical level using the alerts inside the Interactive Brokers charts. Now, taking this one step further, if you want to not look at Apple's price at all, some people don't want to see this, they can just actually look at the call option value. So if I click in here on the portfolio and click on my call option 150, it's going to pop open the chart for the actual call option itself. Now you can see here, I've got an alert set up here on this call option. So if the call option value changes, you can set your alert to do it by this metric. And this is great if you want to do this and kind of have an idea of your price point, because again, every dollar move up on your contract value is $100 in profit. So if we want to add another $500 to our option contract in potential profit, if we go and say 42 plus 5 is 47, we can't actually get up there on the chart right now. So let's say $3. $45 right there. If we get up to 45 in option contract value, that's an extra $300 in our trade. Maybe that's the point we want to get to and say, hey, that's enough. That's a good amount of profit. I'm happy with that. I can go up here in my actual options contract on the chart. Same thing, set the bell up there and just go, boom, plunk it down at 45, activate it. And now if the option contract itself, which is not the same thing as the price of Apple, the price of Apple is shown up here at 192.89. The contract value of this call option is $40. If that contract value goes up on the chart like it's going to move up and down as Apple stock price moves. If that goes up to $45, our alert's going to go off, boom, 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 and we're going to be able to go in and say, hey, that's our profit target, right? That's an extra $300 in profit right there. I don't have to look at Apple's stock price. There's no technical analysis in this. It's just straight up, I want more profit. You can do that and fling it in here. On the flip side again as well, if you want to protect your downside cost basis, you could put an alert down here. Let's say you want to give up $500 in this case. You could go to your chart in here and say 42 minus 5 is 37. You could set an alert down at $37. And this isn't going to be a stop loss in this example. This is going to be just an alert, but set it around $37. So if the contract price of Apple hits $37 for this particular call option, it's going to flash again a warning sign to you. You're going to be able to go into your account and say, oh, okay, I've given back about $500 of profit. I'm going to go in here, right click, close, and take off my trade. And away you go. You're going to be done and off to the races, managing your profit, managing your risk appropriately inside Interactive Brokers for your winning call option. Following these 5 key steps, or a combination of a few of them, is going to give you the best possible odds for managing your upside and also minimizing your downside risk in a long call option trade where you have some profit already on the table. My name is Andrew Ferguson. Hope you got some value out of this video, and I teach new stock investors how stock options work using the Interactive Brokers trading platform. If you like what you saw in this video, I invite you to subscribe to the channel for more and to continue learning. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.